Morning, guys. John White Wolf here. So, I've been lifting regularly, off and on. Sometimes you take breaks, that happens. But regularly for about 11 years. Uh, when I started, I was about 227 pounds and in terrible, terrible shape. Terrible, terrible shape. Round in the middle, noodly arms, shoulders were, yeah, bad. So when I started lifting, I started looking at many YouTubers and online experts, people in the fitness industry, of course, uh, who had information, the best information. I tried to sort it out, and it took years and years to sort out what I feel is the best information. And honestly, I still learn things every day. But I have a lot of friends who are fighters in the SCA. And one of the things when I tell people that they should lift for their health and for strength and endurance and just it makes everything easier when you build your body better. But one of the things that they say often is, well, I don't want to get too bulky. And I understand what they're saying because our sport involves a lot of athleticism, a lot of mobility. Reducing your mobility can be an issue. Being flexible, fast, you don't want to disrupt what you're already able to do by changing your body. But what I can tell you is don't worry about that, because if you're worried about getting too bulky, my advice is try. Good luck. Really good luck. Your body will not build in a natural state. If you're just eating right and lifting regularly and getting plenty of rest and you're growing muscle, what your body will not do naturally is grow too much muscle for your frame. It just won't. You can't. The bodybuilders that you see on stages, they are juiced to the gills. They are on so many different chemical compounds, many different things that enable them to grow muscles that are quite literally ludicrous and useless. Those muscles are not good for anything. Your body will get rid of muscle that it doesn't require for performing your daily tasks. And so that's why when bodybuilders stop taking the gear, for one, but also stop working out as vigorously and stop eating insane amounts of food and huge amounts of protein, they instantly shrink. They get much smaller. I don't have any experience with being enhanced, is what they call it, in that industry. Basically, I don't take any type of chemical compounds or anything unnatural into my system. The only thing that I consume fairly regularly, and that's off and on as well, is creatine, just because it helps with strength, and but you do retain water, so if you're taking creatine, so you'll actually gain and hold on to about 5 pounds of water weight if you're taking creatine regularly. But it is good. It does improve your endurance. It does actually improve your strength gains as well. And studies have shown that I've seen, don't ask me to quote them right now, but I've seen that there are actually a lot of studies about creatine being consumed to help with Alzheimer's patients, because apparently it assists with cognitive brain function. So that's always good. Can't have too much of that. But to my friends who think that they can just get too bulky if they start working out or using a lifting routine, which requires 4 to 5 days a week, about an hour a day, to lift solid and to lift moderate to heavy weights, to actually build muscle and grow. For those guys who think that they want to avoid getting too bulky, you can't get too bulky. I mean, look at the CrossFit athletes. Probably a lot of them are on gear. Maybe most of them. I don't know what their testing is in that sport. But if you look at those guys are jacked, totally jacked, and they do, you know, a lot of athletic stuff, not just lifting, because lifting is fairly sedentary actually. There's not a lot of, you know, running around and raising your heart rate and such with lifting in that bodybuilding world. But those CrossFit guys, you know, they're really jacked. I mean, they've basically got on their body the most muscle that their body is going to grow naturally. If they want to get any bigger, they're going to have to stop doing a lot of the cardio type activities, because that does have an impact on how much you can grow. They would have to start eating a lot more food, and they would have to resort to chemical compounds and you know, synthetic testosterone and HGH, human growth hormone, things like that, in order to grow their bodies and get bigger and gain more muscle. So if you look at those guys and you see, you know, if they're not on those things at the size that they're at, they're anything but too bulky. They're very active. They're very flexible. You know, they're athletes for sure. So I just wanted to mention that to my friends out there who I think, and anybody out there who wants to lift and wants to, you know, look better, feel better. You can't get too bulky. If you're lifting regularly and you're eating properly, which there's a lot of information out there, I'm not going to go over that now, but if you're lifting regularly and you're consistent and you're actually starting to grow muscle, it's going to take you, let's say in a year, your first year, right? If you do everything perfectly, if you eat as much protein as you need, if you get as much sleep as you need, if you hit every body part with the right amount of volume and training, you know, and you do that for a full year, if you're lucky, you can gain approximately 15 pounds of muscle. If you don't do all that, you know, if you're kind of slip here and there, your diet isn't quite right or whatever, you're probably looking maybe between 8 to 15 pounds if you are lifting regularly, and everything's not on point. So on average, you know, doing all the right stuff, you're probably looking somewhere between 8 and 15 pounds of muscle in a full year. So if you get there, right, if you do those things and you put on 8 to 10 to 15 pounds of muscle by the end of a year, are you going to be mad about that? Like, do you think your body couldn't handle, you know, 10, 12, 15 pounds of muscle and still be flexible and athletic? Of course you can, right? That's not a huge amount. We can lose that much in, you know, water weight over the course of a couple nights sword fighting. So, I mean, that's not extreme, of course. But after that first year, if you want to continue, you keep on pushing, you keep on eating, you keep on doing all the work, and you keep getting your rest and stuff. That second year, that full second year, you might gain about half of the amount that you gained that first year. And then the next year, if you continue doing it, you're going to gain half, maybe, of what you got in that second year. So you get diminishing returns over time. There's a limit to what your body is going to be able to put on. Excuse me. And if you stop doing that, your body will recognize that lifting is no longer part of your daily routine, and you don't need that superfluous muscle. Your body will reabsorb it. I don't know how that works, but you shrink, you get smaller, you lose muscle mass. So you cannot get too bulky, and you can maintain all of your flexibility and mobility if you're lifting. So that's my advice to you. Get out there, lift some weights. Everything gets easier when you change your body and you get, you get stronger, your focus gets more sharp. Everything that you do that's physical gets easier. Sword fighting gets tremendously easier. You don't have to put as much effort into your shots, your shot power, and you can really concentrate on your technique and your accuracy and your speed and things like that, rather than trying to generating enough power to deal a good blow. So that's for all my friends out there. I want to see everybody lifting weights, getting healthier, eating right, feeling good about themselves, and fighting better. So have fun, guys.